Hello, and welcome to KSS Program's Computer Science and Coding online lessons. Today, we're going to be working on lesson number 5, Manipulating Variables. Let's go back to the basics and talk about variables again. So variables is a programming tool that allows your code to be used in a variety of applications, reasons, or purposes. It is helpful to consider variables as little containers that hold information, and then the programmer defines that information. Now, why do we use them? Flexibility. Rather than entering a specific data such as numbers, colors, or directions, a programmer can use a variable to represent the data. Also, labels. Using labels allows the programmer to label parts of their code that represents data. Using labels is critical to writing code that is legible and repeatable. Now let's talk about the what, the why, when, and how. Variables can be manipulated. You can have them dynamically change throughout the span of executing your code. The same variable can hold a particular value initially and then have that value changed into another one for your code later on. Why? If we use variables, we use less lines of code and therefore less power, less effort for the computer executing your code. Things are easy and simple. Now, when do we use them? Manipulating variables can be done whenever the code allows for it. We have to look for patterns. Now, how do we use them? Please consider the scenario on the next slide for a real-world example. In this case, we have been presented with the challenge of writing a code to command a robot to walk around 3 patches of grass of different sizes. One of them is 100 by 100 feet, the other one is a 50 by 50 feet, and the last one is a 25 by 25 feet. Now, what is the most efficient approach to this problem? Let's consider using and then manipulating a variable after each patch. Now, we're going to use a variable related to length. So we can go from 100 to 50 and then to 25. So 50 is half of 100 and 25 half of 50. So if we manipulate our variable related to length, we can write a loop program to walk around the 3 squares, starting with the largest. And then within the loop, we can manipulate our variable, asking it to be divided by half. This concept will make your programming very, very efficient and easy to follow. As you can see, the problem is solved now. After every interaction of your loop, your length will decrease by half. You can practice these concepts using exercises on online platforms like code.org. We're going to use an example from this platform so we can explain a situation that requires the use of variables. Please take a moment to go over the next set of slides. Now, let's recap. Think like a programmer. Always plan your approach to the problem and read the instructions. Debug. Set your variables. Test. Remember that you can test the progress of your program to make sure that you are on the right track. Review your code. Can you make it simple? Should we add comments to our code? It helps to consider your programming as your own artwork. Make it presentable. Now let's wrap it up with the fun fact of the day. Let us know if any questions or comments. See you next time.